imagine you're invited to go rock climbing. Now, personally, I find the idea of climbing a huge rock very dangerous, very intimidating. But let's say in this story you could check in Shemayim if you're on the list of people that are going to die that day or not. So it might help you to relax a little bit. So you, what you do is you Google Shemayim, and you ask, of course, Google Shemayim, just like you do Google here, am I on your list of arrivals today? And the answer you get back from Google Shemayim is, no, you're not, we're not expecting you. So you're like, okay, I can relax. So maybe I will go rock climbing with my friends. And you go, and it is still scary a little bit because it's high and hard. But at the end of the day, you're successful. You climb the mountain, you come back down, and you feel accomplished. What an amazing experience, Now, on the way home, though, it's late at night now after a long day of activities, driving through one of the more dangerous neighborhoods in some of these countries have really dangerous neighborhoods. You get a flat tire, it pops, and the car flies off the road, and you're stuck in the middle of nowhere on a deserted little alleyway. And it's quite a bad neighborhood, and it's very late at night. Now, as you're wondering what are we going to do, a bunch of criminal types come to assess the situation, and of course they figure you guys have a lot of money, and they want to take your money from you. Now, one of them happens to be very angry, very agitated, seemingly under the influence of a lot of things, and he decides that besides robbing you, he doesn't want to go to jail, and he's afraid that you guys will go to the police and identify him. And so, as desperate as he is to rob you, he's also desperate. He doesn't want to go back to prison. So he decides, if I'm going to rob you guys, we have to also kill you. So now, the question for everybody right now is this. As this crazy man is pointing a gun at you, again, the same person that checked in the morning and Shemayim said, you're not on my list of arrivals, are you in any danger? Can this person decide to pull the trigger and shoot you and kill you? Or because, in heaven there was no decree that you should die that day, so you have nothing really to worry about, and you just can sit there calmly and have a cigarette and ask for a cup of coffee, and when he comes to shoot you, something's going to happen and it won't work. Or are you in danger? And you better pray and you better hope that something happens, otherwise, you're actually making that trip you weren't expecting. So which is it going to be? So for this idea, we have an interesting discussion that comes out from the story with Yosef and his brothers. The Or HaChaim HaKadosh speaks on it, and of course he's essentially echoing the Zohar, which is really the source for this idea. So let's start with the Zohar. The Zohar says like this. When the brothers wanted to kill Yosef because they hated him, so they were determined to kill him. They thought perhaps that they were justfully judging him and his crimes and that he was deserving of death. But since they hated him, so Reuven, the oldest of the brothers, understood that they were going to kill him no matter what. Now, Reuven understood that there's extreme danger involved in human beings that want to kill somebody because God gave human beings free choice. It's true God runs the world, but in his running of the world, he gave us the opportunity and the ability to do things, and once he gave us that choice, so that it's a real thing that we have and it can alter things. So Reuven understands that the brothers can kill Yosef. So what's his advice? He says, don't be responsible for spilling his blood. Instead, throw him into the pit. And his intention was to save him from his brother's hands. Now, what was Reuven thinking? When we study the Chumash, we're told that the pit was empty of mayim, of water, but it was full of scorpions and it was full of snakes, deadly snakes and scorpions. So what was Reuven's great plan to save his brother Yosef? Meanwhile, he's throwing him to death with the snakes and scorpions. So we can appreciate it's a very deep concept. The idea of dangerous animals that have a nature, a tendency to kill, it's real, it's part of the nature of the world, but God's control over that is much stronger than over human beings that have free choice. So it's almost like there are two levels of danger over here. It's true, if some fool jumps in a lion's den, he's risking his life and the lion might eat him. But it's much more dangerous, according to the Zohar, to have a person holding you at gunpoint that wants to kill you. Because for God to stop an animal from killing a human being, that is a miracle, but it's a much smaller, simpler miracle than stopping a human being from one that wants to kill you. One is considered a much greater miracle, and it requires much more merit. So to be saved from an animal requires merit, and in this case, Reuven understood certainly that the son of Yaakov, the holy Yaakov, was worthy of a miracle. Because even if Yosef was lacking the merit to be saved, you can also be saved because of the merit of your ancestors. So Reuven was certain that Yosef either himself had the merit, or through his father and grandfather had the merit to be saved from the animals, from the scorpions and snakes. But to be saved from the other brothers that had free choice to kill him, that required extra merit, and few are those that merit being saved from the hands of a human being. That's the approach of the Zohar. Now, let's go deeper into this idea. Someone might hear this and become a bit scared. What are you saying? Are you saying that really, when your evil people have control to do what God doesn't want them to do? It's a bit scary, but if we go deeper into the idea, we'll realize they're not so much in control. Ultimately, God is in total control, and God has to allow what they're deciding to happen. What we're essentially saying here, and it's a fine point, we're saying that in order for God to intervene and block someone's free choice, that's considered a huge miracle. And for that, you need a lot of merit. And so what essentially can happen is, since many people are guilty of sins and they don't have the necessary merit, so it's almost like this person's decision to want to kill you right now is causing a new situation in heaven. So it's almost like right now, if he had his smartphone, he has to re-Google Shemayim and ask again, Shemayim, right now am I in danger? Now the answer you would get from Shemayim right now is, excuse me, we're busy now. We're trying to decide if you're going to live or die, so don't disturb us. Let us decide first. And that's what's actually happening. Once this person is pushing destiny, saying, I want to kill, there's a possibility that you will be killed. But it only happens if Hashem decides to stay inactive. Hashem has to now, so to speak, and the heavenly court has to decide to become active and block his free choice. And that's a huge miracle. Now, remember, I mentioned specifically that when you're going to ask Shemayim, they're going to tell you, wait, we're busy working it out, which is also an indication that there is hope. Because we know that we're taught by David HaMelech and this famous story from Chizkiyahu HaMelech, his son, that even if a sharp knife is at your throat and the guy's going to kill you, do not ever give up on beseeching God's mercy. It's never, ever too late. So you cry and you daven and you beg from Hashem, and there's always hope. And this is an important idea to live with. No matter how dangerous, no matter how scary the situation seems, no matter how much in your eyes it's 100% finished, it's never finished. God is all able. He can do anything. And through tefillah, and through even without prayer, if you have enough trust and faith in Hashem, that alone is enough to merit being saved. So we never give up hope. It's true, there is a level of danger. But don't fool yourself from this Zohar to think that the people are in control and can do what they want. Ultimately, it's all up to God, and we have to hold on to Hashem with all we have and daven and never ever give up hope.